good. Keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded. Very nice, I'm looking at the camera. Very nice, good, good, good. Preloaders, V.I.Preloaders, welcome back to the channel, guys. Always a pleasure to have you guys here with me. And you noticed by now, or at least you should, for those of you that have never been to this channel before, welcome to you as well. My name's Robert. I'm a retired NYPD Highway Patrol motorcycle lieutenant. And the name of this wonderful channel is Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. And guys, I'm excited about today's video. I'm here in Montclair, California. I'm here at the warehouse of Indy Ridge, right? And if you guys are unfamiliar with Indy Ridge, it's a company that I love. They make boots, they make gloves, and we're gonna talk to the owner of this company. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with Steve, that's the owner. You're familiar with his name, but now I want you guys to meet him. I want you to see the kind of guy he is as far as his work ethic, how he runs this business, and why the products that you guys have purchased, for those of you that have purchased them, are so good, because this guy is so anal about what he does, and I can relate to that. So anyway, let's go inside, let's meet this guy. Steve, what's going on, brother?
Robert, how are you, brother?
I'm good, I'm good. All right, guys, if you know about Indy Ridge Boots, and you know about Steve as far as his name, what is his Steve? Steve, what's your affiliation with Indy Ridge?
I started it.
Very good.
Started it back in 2015, incorporated in 2017.
Okay.
I've been working at it ever since. And I'm the owner, founder, CEO, whatever you want to call it. It sounds stupid to call yourself a CEO. I hate it.
I know I referred to you as the CEO, and I saw your reaction.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, nah, shut up. I'm not a CEO.
But you, I mean, technically you are. This is your company.
Well, yes, it's my company, but I don't have a board of directors.
Gotcha.
I'm not listed on the S&P.
Gotcha.
Or on the stock exchange or whatever. Preface this. I got to preface this because I promised Bry the Biker. Shout out to Bry the Biker. I promised him that if and when I ever gave an interview, I would give him the first interview, because Bry the Biker was one of my first OG Indy Ridge insiders from years ago. Yeah. He was reviewing my gloves back in 2017. I didn't even know who he was. He was just this guy unboxing. He had just started his channel. And he just reviewed my gloves. And by the third review, I reached out to him and I said, hey man, I've got a group of guys here who test my stuff. Like, do you want to just test all my stuff? And, you know, buy them, I'll send them to you. Yeah. So he's been a long-time friend, long-time consigliere. I promised him the first interview. So this is not an interview.
Yes, not an interview.
It's just a video. And I just happen to be wearing a lav mic. And you just happen to be driving by my very nondescript warehouse.
Okay, so for people that don't know, you participated in practice session number 72, which was in Lake Elsinore, California. So that's why I'm here. And it just so happens that I just happen to be driving by this warehouse, and thank you for having me here. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So we know you make boots.
Yeah.
So now you're saying you make gloves as well?
Gloves, boots, and other things are coming. We didn't start out with either of those. We started out with motorcycle face masks, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a side project.
Okay.
That is a good story. It's a longer story, but we started with face masks first, just as just for shits and giggles on as a side gig. Yeah, and it kind of grew and grew and grew. Started to make gloves. then started working on boots. But and there's products in the works.
Yeah. So was the name of this company Indie Ridge right from the start?
It was. So my colleague, who I began the company with, he grew up on Independence Ridge.
Okay.
Or Independence Road. I forget, but that was the street he grew up on. And so he just came up with it. We were working at a startup company, I guess you could call it. He's a full stack engineer, brilliant guy.
Yeah.
Zach, and he's still my guy. He's still, I can come to him anytime.
Good.
I purchased his half of the company in 2019 because he's a tech guy and he wants to try new things that have to do with tech, and he was realizing this is becoming more of a brand.
Yeah.
And having a creative background and a product design background, that was my skill set.
Yeah.
So I offered to buy him out. I gave him some incentive on the back end if we do well, and he is my overseer.
Good.
He is my bird dog in case I need to get some other developers in line and stuff. So Zach and I, we began this as a side project, and it grew really quick.
So Boots wasn't even the second product that you made, correct?
Third.
It was the third. Yeah. And is that your most successful?
It's kind of turned, well, people still buy a lot of masks.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk to you about the boots right now, because that's the first thing I noticed about your company was the boots. John from Cycle Fanatics, I saw him wearing them.
Yeah.
And I'm not a motorcycle boot guy. I'm not a boot guy, period. I wore sneakers all the time on my motorcycle, even though I know it's not the safest thing. And I looked at his boots, and he told me they were riding boots. And the first thing I asked is, what are those? Indie Ridge. As a matter of fact, he was wearing Comanches, what you're wearing right now. Did you ride your motorcycle here today?
I did not.
Okay. And
we have a cardboard in the intake zone. And usually I keep my bike here, but I don't keep cardboard and my bike in the same place at the same time, because cardboard has dust. And dust permeates everything.
Look at that. All right. Guys, so you hear what he just said? When I'm telling you this is a different type of guy, he's a different type of guy. We're going to check out the warehouse in a second. And you're going to see what I'm talking about as far as the meticulous nature and the work ethic and everything else that goes along with this guy. But the reason I asked him, did he ride a motorcycle here? I know he didn't ride a motorcycle. And yes, he made these boots, but that's not, they're comfortable. Like, you're going to hear a bunch of people talk about how comfortable Indie Ridge boots are, especially when they're really broken in. None of the Indie Ridge boots that I have are broken in, but they're comfortable. And I wear my Indie Ridge boots during our practice session. I'm out there for hours wearing these boots. So anyway, I know that this is not the current version,
yeah,
right?
This Comanche, these are old. So these are probably, I mean, they've been waxed a bunch of times. So they look, I mean, they still look, they've got a good patina to them. But these are probably version 3.
Version 3. Why do they have versions?
A friend of mine once told me that the best way to kill a bad product is with good advertising. And I never wanted the quality of the product to be surpassed by the brand. So the brand can never lead the way.
Yeah.
The product has to lead the way. The brand will come later. I version the boots out because I make them in small batches. You know, a small batch used to be 200. A small batch now is about 1,000.
Yeah.
Because every single time I look for something, and I'm notorious for this. Everybody says the same thing when I say this, but I say I open up a box and I'm like, fuck, I should have done that differently. I don't like the way that is. I could have made that line a little cleaner. Like, and then I wear them, and then I go ride with them, and I'm like, okay, I need to change this and this and this. Okay, all right. So I'll, like, there are times, like, you happen to come on a day that my office is clean. Just a coincidence.
Yeah. Just a coincidence.
There are times when it is like a slaughterhouse of boots. I have hacksaws.
Yeah.
back there, and I will cut them in half, and I will look at the side profile of my boot, and I will open up the boot, and I will make sure, because it's really easy to look at something from the outside and say, oh, that's a cool looking thing. Does it work? Does it protect your foot? Is it comfortable to wear in? Are there areas that can be improved? And when you are being introduced to a customer for the first time, whether that's through an online ad or a friend or whoever, through you, you get one shot pretty much. Because people might buy the boot, but if they don't like it, they'll return them, which is fine. But it's harder to get that customer back because in their mind, oh, I've already tried Indie Ridge boots. They might have tried a version 2. They might have tried a version 3. I made changes to this. I made changes to this. You couldn't breathe through Night version 1, Crossfield version 1. If you looked on our Instagram the other day, I took this boot. This is the Night 3. And I rigged up.
This is ventilated.
This is ventilated.
The ones you're wearing are waterproof.
The ones I'm wearing are waterproof.
Yes.
And that's why we need a ventilated version, because waterproof keeps water out, keeps heat in a little bit. Fact of life.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong answers. There's only trade-offs. I think Thomas Sowell said that. I put this light in this boot and I spun it around. So you could see that I can actually take a breath through them. That was important. And so this is Night 3.
Night 3.
There's going to be a Night 4. There might be a Night 3.5. But it's not going to stop. The Comanche 4s, which I'm not wearing.
I can't wait to see those.
Well, that's kind of the thing, is that I don't change the look of it very much. People like the look. I like the look. There might be certain small changes that I make, but they're mostly construction. It's mostly comfort, durability, longevity. You know, am I using the right composite of rubber for the outer sole? Is it grippy enough? You know, these are all things that I need to think about. So the big jump from version in the 3s to the version 4s is I had new press molds made for the outer sole. Now originally, if you look at the 3s, this was kind of a slope. These corners were kind of a slope. I wanted to give the boot more surface area and sharper teeth to grip. So obviously the more surface area you have on the ground with your shoe, the more traction you'll be able to get. So I created all new press molds, which is expensive. They're about $3,000 per size. And we have 16 sizes of boot currently. We don't make wides yet. Guys, I'm coming with the wides. They actually run wide. I use a custom last. And a last is like a little plastic foot or a wooden foot that you stretch leather over. And it's made for an American style foot. So these actually are like an E-double-E when they're broken in properly. They might fit tight at first, but you got to remember they're leather. They will break in. And they're motorcycle boots. Their number one job is not to look good and not to look cool, is to protect your foot.
And your ankle, right?
Foot, ankle.
You have reinforcement in here, right?
It's got, so like I could cut this open now, you'd see it here. You'd see a hard cap here. There's a lot of cushioning. This is TPU, TPU, hard toe box. I've had guys go down real hard real hard. I've had, I get emails from guys saying I went down really hard, and your boots saved my foot. Now I don't like to get those, you know, that kind of thing. It's always, and I've had it with the gloves too.
Oh yeah, speaking of your gloves, so talk to me about what's going on here. This looks like, are you doing all of this? Like, this is your background. You're designing these gloves.
Well, one thing about having a business and wanting it to remain successful is you need to know everything about your product.
Yeah.
There are people who can buy a glove that looks like mine or a boot that looks like mine and sell it. Put a logo on it and sell it.
Yeah.
I want to know more about them than the manufacturer does about what I'm doing. I don't want them to be able to make any changes. Now, I have a very trusted relationship with my manufacturers. And they know I'm crazy. So they know that I'm going to find out one way or another. Either I'm going to get the glove or the boot, and I'm going to cut it open, and I'm going to see if they made the change that I asked for, or a customer is going to call me and say, hey man, this happened. And then I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And then they're going to hear about it. So for me, I didn't want to be in the business of cutting corners.
Yeah.
So because again, one of the best ways to kill a bad product or a bad company is with a lot of good advertising. And I don't want to do that. I want this to spread those aren't for sale yet, but they'll be for sale by the time, maybe by the time this came out. I just photographed these last night. These are black denim on black leather. But I also wanted to adjust the fit because for some reason, motorcycle gloves, they never fit quite right.
Yeah.
There's always something wrong, and it's usually the pinky and the index finger that are a little too long. Maybe it's, don't know why.
Yeah.
So I chose the glove that I liked and fit me the best, and I cut it up, and I cut up all my gloves all the time, but this is the one that I wanted to create patterns off of. It's a very, very hard process because this pinky is too long. But you can't just, so this is the palm piece of the glove. This is, I think it's other half. You can't just make this palm piece smaller because you have these things called fourchettes. Fourchettes are in between the glove, the top panel, and the palm. Now, different manufacturers, different companies stitch gloves different ways. I use fourchettes and I use a box stitch on 3 of the 4 fingers. The index needs to have an inner seam. It can't have a box stitch because it needs to be touchscreen compatible, and a box stitch is not great for touchscreen material. So I can't just make this smaller. If I just make this smaller, well, what do I do to this? Because this just changed. And then you pull that string, this changes. So what happens to the top? This is how long the pinky is on the top. I just made the palm smaller, or I just made the palm piece smaller. How does that change this?
Yeah.
So it's a really intense process. But I want people to at least know what they're getting every single time they get an Indy Ridge gloves. Because sometimes you can get, I've been to certain places and I've tried on the exact same brand in a medium, and all the mediums fit differently.
Yeah. I know you said something to me about not liking to feel seams inside of it, and I'm the same way.
So there are companies that do inner stitching. So like this is an inner stitch, right? So the seams are all on the inside. Now that's fine if people want like a really tight, sleek fit. The problem is comfort.
Yeah.
This is called a box stitch. Now a box stitch is, you've got the same thing as you have on the inside, but it's just reverse. It's on the outside. I don't like to feel seams.
The other thing is, I don't like the glove to feel excessively large. So I like it to feel a little fitted.
Yeah, I do
so
too.
medium is good for me.
And those will break in. Yeah. And how does it feel? Like, would you be thinking about your gloves on that ride?
No, and not only that, you're right. I don't feel any stitching on the inside. Oh, I see the thumb and the forefinger, the pointer finger. I can actually, can I use my phone? Can I touch the phone? Is that what that's for?
Yeah, you can touch the phone. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So I actually, so again, this is the level of crazy.
You call it crazy, I call it meticulous.
Well, like I don't have a plan B on any of this stuff. So if this goes the way of the dodo bird, I got to go find something else to do, and I don't want to go work for somebody else. This is an obscure device called the surface conductivity meter.
I was going to ask what the hell that was.
I got a bunch of little small things. This is for measuring the density of leather. Gloves are usually about a 0.7, 0.8 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, you take, and because hides are thicker in certain places, so it's a little less than 1, so it's about 0.8. Mm-hmm. Hides are different. Hides are thicker and thinner in certain places of the cow. This is a surface conductivity meter. What it does is it measures how conductive something is. Mm-hmm. Now there are certain things that are very conductive. Gold is the most conductive. There might be an obscure metal that's more. Gold is the top, silver, then copper, and then there's a long list. Your fingers are. Mm-hmm. So that's why you can use, there is an electromagnetic pulse field. It's conductive. Mm-hmm. That's why you can use your phone. So I take my fingers and I put it on. And again, if there's any engineers, I think cathode and anode, my fingers are about 10 to the 6. What's interesting about that number is it doesn't mean anything. The ohms per square, for some reason, it doesn't matter. But it says static, this is 10 to the 6. So obviously my fingers will work with my iPhone. Mm-hmm. This table, same thing, is insulative, which means there's zero conductivity. Mm-hmm. So if I used a table to try at the end of the glove and I tried to use it, it would be insulative. Gotcha. Now, this is the same material that I put on, and first off, this material, I've gone through so many different types of material for touch fingertips because it's hard. It's hard to have them be conductive, stay conductive, or to use frictions. A lot of companies, they'll cut the leather off at the end and they'll have a small piece of vinyl at the tip of your finger so that there's not much material between your finger and the phone. So the electricity goes through. However, you saw this was insulative. That is 10 to the 4. So I could drag this. In theory, I could drag this material. This is the touchscreen material, without even my finger in it, and it would still move my phone. But that's how I check. So when I get gloves and we do QC, I check. Yep. And if they don't work, then it's a problem. And if they don't work, well,
guys, I'm telling you, I know he lost half of you with all the technical terms, but all I care about is I know that the tip and the thumb, what my glove's on, it's going to work on my phone or my touchscreen on the motorcycle or whatever.
But the good news is if the touchscreen ever fails, you can return them and it's free, and don't worry about that.
I'm glad you said that. Man, you read my mind, because I was just about to say, before we go check out this meticulous warehouse, what if I buy a pair of these boots and I don't like them?
Or gloves.
Or gloves.
Or
whatever.
anything.
The Indie Ridge office.
Yeah, anything that we make, I will always take back.
Really?
Yeah. Let's say you bought a pair of gloves or a pair of boots. How are you supposed to make a decision about if they're the right boot for your bike and your shifter, the way you ride your bike, if you can't use it? Mm-hmm. So I allow people to use them. Most companies, you open the box, you got to make a decision right there. You put them on. If they don't work, you got to return them within 30 days with the original packaging and roll tags. Mm-hmm. If you send me back a pair of boots, I'll give you your money back.
Awesome.
I don't want you to have to keep anything you don't like, love. I don't want it. I don't want you wearing my stuff, and I don't want your money, and we can part as friends. But awesome. I want you to know if you like it before you have to commit to it. Mm-hmm. So you can send me back scuffed up boots. I will put them on the Indie Ridge Orphanage on Poshmark, where we sell them for significantly less.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll donate them if they're not too bad. I'll do something with them. But the point is that I don't want you to have to feel like you're making a decision right then and there. You got to break them in. You got to use them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how do you know?
That's
and
awesome.
So, I've had people call me after a couple months. They're scuffed up. Steve, these just aren't working for me. Mm-hmm. No problem. Send them back.
And your website, you have a name for your return policy.
It's called the Live Free Guarantee. That's what that's called.
Yeah.
Is that you basically don't have to pay for anything you don't want. Yeah. Ever.
Awesome.
There's another one.
Yeah.
That's the Live Free Guarantee is our unofficial return policy. Mm-hmm. The official return policy is called the Roadhouse Return Policy. One of the nice things about owning your own company is you get to do and write and say whatever you want. Mm-hmm. As long as it's within the confines of the law, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So because the Live Free Guarantee is pretty generous, if I see you return a pair of boots and then I see you purchase another pair immediately afterwards, so I give you your money back and you just buy the same pair, maybe the next version, I'll probably ban you for life.
Okay.
Politely.
Yeah.
I'll say, you know what, these aren't for you.
Yeah.
The official return policy, I call it the Roadhouse Return Policy because Patrick Swayze, Dalton, R.I.P., his motto, his rules for being a bouncer was be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice, be nice, be nice. Until it's time to not be nice.
Yeah.
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
So if you get caught trying to exchange a pair every single year, there's going to be a note next to your name that says cancel order immediately. And I've had guys call and legit cry. I feel kind of bad. I've had guys write long emails appealing the decision. And to be honest, it's not the end of the world. It's just boots, it's gloves. It's not like, don't take it personally. I don't take it personally if you say you hate my stuff, you give me a 1-star review. It's okay. It's not. There's so many more things to worry about. But the point is, I want my customers to love the gear and to not feel like they have to keep it no matter what.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. So you've heard everything that he said. Aside from the product, you guys know when it comes to products, yes, that's important. But what's also important is what comes behind the product. And he clearly is meticulous and cares about every little facet about everything he's doing. And if he's not satisfied, that's how you get version 2, 3, 4, 5. And who's answering the phone if somebody calls here?
I answer every call, and maybe there's been a couple, but if I don't answer, Stephanie calls, and a lot of you know Stephanie because she's a very integral part of my business. You met her.
Yes, I met her. She doesn't want to be on camera, and that's fine. But guys, this is just awesome. And look at that return policy. Let me tell you how huge that is, guys. I'm sure you already can imagine that. And of course, like you said, with the Roadhouse policy, there's always
don't blow it up too much.
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna have to start canceling a lot of people.
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody that wants to take advantage of a good thing. But if you guys have ever thought about buying handlebars, how stressful is that? Or a seat? And you know you don't get a chance to really try it out. Once you put it on the motorcycle, you're stuck with it. So how awesome is it to know you could buy these boots, try them out, see if they work out, and if they don't, that's awesome, man. All right.
Well, and the thing is that they're not cheap.
Yeah.
We can't put that on the tags yet, but they're CE2 certified.
Which means?
In Europe, you can't wear protective gear, or Canada, or anywhere else in the world pretty much. You can't wear any kind of protective gear on a motorcycle without some sort of CE certification.
Okay.
Most boots that look like this are CE1.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of different categories like abrasion, puncture, resistance. Height is the only thing that we have CE1 because that's reserved for like the Stormtrooper.
Gotcha.
That's CE2. Everything else is CE2. It's hard to get. It's expensive to get. It's expensive to get there.
Okay.
And the versioning got us there. So once we get the model number fixed and all the labeling, and that's when you'll start. But they've been, I might be biased. I would not wear something else on my foot.
Gotcha.
Right.
Of course you're biased, but I understand.
No, but I know what's in them,
Exactly.
and I know what happened on Sunday as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And what he's referring to is a rider went down. He put his foot down, and the bike fell on top of his foot. And of course, this guy, knowing what he did with these boots, and the guy that was not wearing motorcycle boots, period. So first thought he had was, wow, if he had those boots on, no serious injury to him, by the way, but he would have been in a lot better shape if he was wearing the proper boots.
And how long had he been riding?
How long has he been riding?
Yeah.
48 years.
Yeah, and he was a great rider. He whipped my ass. I sucked out there.
Well,
Well,
you didn't, man. Only 3 years on a Harley. I spoke to him, 3 months on a Harley. I spoke to him today, as a matter of fact. Only 3 months on the Harley.
Who?
He's been that same guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's a motocross guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but like still, an experienced rider. I mean, I couldn't do the figure eight.
Yeah.
I'll just put it out there now. You won't see me on the figure eight.
No, we'll see you.
Oh, fuck.
Deleted. Keep it loaded. Keep it loaded. Good. Keep the throttle right there. We'll see you in the figure eight.
That's when I coincidentally had to leave.
Yes. He had to leave.
But these, so there's abrasion, puncture resistance, and transverse rigidity, which means if it falls on the side, is your foot going to get crushed?
Yeah.
And it's a 2.
Yeah.
And again, it's not easy to get. It's not cheap to get, but it was important to me that because they look like cool boots, they look like regular boots. And it's not necessary in America. We can wear flip-flops if we want to.
Yeah.
C is not a requirement here. I don't even sell international.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to deal with that yet.
Yeah.
But it was important for me, for you guys to know that it's not just a cool looking boot that I'm marketing as a motorcycle boot. I wanted to take the time to get them out, and you have to get them certified in an Italian lab or English. There's a few labs overseas where they come and they just beat the shit out of your boots, and they give you a score.
Gotcha.
They give you a rating, and that was it's a long process. Again, they're not like Americans. We're fast.
Exactly.
We're fast. So I just realized that gun was shooting me in the head the entire time. That is a print proof from the Risk boot. The street graffiti artist, real famous graffiti artist named Risk. We did a collaboration together on a boot, as some of you may or may not know, from the website. I've got, that's his too. That's a reference to the movie Heat, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Awesome movie.
There's a shot in the beginning where Robert De Niro comes into his house, and he puts his gun on the table and he stands by the door. And it's based on an Alexander Colville painting from the 50s. He was an artist from Canada. That's an Ollie Moss. That's a very rare Ollie Moss print from one of my other favorite movies, There Will Be Blood. The one on the top there is from a Romanian artist who I used for the Paisley design. I used her design because I liked it. And then I emailed her and I asked her, hey, would you mind if I had exclusive, can I buy this design for you? And she said, yeah, sure. And I said, oh, okay, well, how much do you want for it? She's like, I don't know, like $50. And I'm like, I'm going to send you 500 because that's how much it's worth for an exclusive design on something that you can potentially make money with. So, which was actually the case with Rod Velarde, which we can talk about later, and the boots and the story behind the boots.
Talking about the bear?
So that's him. That's Rod Velarde. I commissioned him to do several pieces.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that in the warehouse, definitely.
Yeah, so that is the hawk on the boots is by a traditional Apache artist named Rod Velarde, but we could talk about that in there.
Okay, let's do it.
The point is that she was thankful enough, or she was that was her way of saying thank you. She sent me a drawing. You can see it's labeled 2015.
Yes.
So I kept it. The one below it is just I thought was funny.
If you don't mind, let's take a look at the warehouse, man. Let's see what's.
All right. So about a year and a half ago, we were in a place that was probably the size of the 4 offices combined. A couple months ago, at the turn of the year, we had to go into what I'm calling the upright era. I realized I wasn't using the top of my warehouse, so we bought used pallet racks. One of the things that there's a lot of things you need to teach. You might have a skill set. That's your core skill set, but you need to teach yourself a lot if you want to be your own business owner, if you want to have your own brand. There are probably so many things that you had to teach yourself. Your skill set is on a bike and your personality. That's your skill set. But all the other things that came with owning a business, you had to learn yourself. So at the beginning of the year, I decided to restructure the entire warehouse into a system of pods, essentially. So if a worker has to pull the most common size of the most common boot, he can't be walking back there to get it.
Yeah.
Good thing it's right there. Crow size 11, Comanche size 11, 10 and a half, 10 and a half. Now this is the area traditionally where these would be pre-kitted and boxed, and so we would just be able to pull, but you guys don't allow us a lot of time. So there's a few that are pre-kitted. I think those are the 14s. So all right.
Okay, so they're in the box. They're ready to
So
go.
yeah, so those are ready to go. But we don't have. This was an emergency delivery of Comanches. More Comanches are coming. This is the short-term glove wall. Long-term glove wall is back there. But everything is, this is the containment zone I was talking about. It's where I kill people and keep dust and
that's
cardboard.
what this plastic is. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So a lot of stuff happens behind this.
Guys, just look how well organized. And it's not like you've got a crew of people in here. This is you, right?
Yeah, legit, no one called in sick today, and I didn't tell anybody to stay away. So you have to think about yourself, okay, well, this is long-term storage. but that's closer than that. So that's short-term, long-term storage. That's long-term, long-term storage. This is mid-term, long-term storage. That is short-term, long-term storage, and that's the glove wall. And I use that wall, I put the gloves there because I want to be able to use that final rack for, and I made this myself. You know, I know that they have those little screen doors that you can do, but I said, you know.
What, you got magnets in here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Organization is the key to a stress-free
Creativity. Creativity.
Yeah.
Creative problem solving is actually what has helped me the most, and it's what's forced me to do the most is creative problem solving.
And some MacGyver stuff going on.
So why is like I want cardboard creates dust.
Yes.
So you know when these get unpacked, they'll get boxed up.
So these come like this.
They come like this.
So how come these are not in plastic?
Because these were unboxed and they're going to be boxed soon. They're 11, like these are the crossfields, so they go fast.
Gotcha.
I also had to reorganize how we do the racks because I decided that the pod system had to change a little bit because we added more sizes and styles. And see here we're getting a little lazy with the with the tape, and then we switched to Post-it notes. So I've got catching up to do.
Oh yeah. Look at this.
Aside from everything else that I have to do. And so that's why I'm here 80 hours a week, yeah.
Talk to me about, briefly, I know you mentioned to me earlier, about the specificity on how you like, what you have them put inside the boot to keep the shape of the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought that was interesting.
Well, yeah, I pulled a crow for you. I could pull the other crow.
Once again,
So,
this just leads to the meticulousness.
This is a women's size 6. It's adorable. And crow. I want these boots to keep the shape of the tongue. I like it to be circular. I like it to look good and be presentable.
Yeah.
So our manufacturer, we ship them like this. So that when they arrive, we just take the rubber bands off.
You have them put a rubber band on as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's got to stay in place. So now that tongue is going to keep its shape.
Rounded shape right here.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's important to me.
See what I mean, guys?
And that's just one part of part of the unboxing because, you know, for me, the important part is, all right, do you like it?
Yeah.
But for the customer experience, it starts immediately.
Yeah.
The second you get it, you open the box. What does the box look like? It's interesting. Does it look like a crappy box? Then you open it. What's it look like inside? Is it organized?
Yep.
Does it look like it was wrapped properly? Is the tongue hanging out just a little bit so you can see that there's a boot inside? All the collateral, you know, the information, is everything in place? Then you take off the tissue, you see the boots. Do you like the boots? That's just before you even try them on. Do you like them?
You're doing all that packing?
No, I don't do all the packing.
Oh, okay. Because it's very well done.
As you guys saw in the office, that I like art in general. I like to incorporate art. I think it's an undervalued asset in the community. But you get this box, and there's nothing to indicate that this is a motorcycle boot box.
Nothing.
It's just a picture of a hawk. And this hawk was created by one of maybe 5 traditional hickory Apache artists left in the country.
This is it right here.
This is it right here. This was from a promotion last year when I ran out of boxes. I had the artwork, and I had a friend, and I did a run of so like you wouldn't get the actual shoe box because I was out of them. So I did a run of 200 under a watchful eye by Rod Velarde. You can buy his prints on the website. I had him commissioned. I commissioned him to do that. You know, you saw the other art inside to do more art because he's so good. He does a lot of Star Wars stuff, but he's one of a handful left in the country. When you open the box, okay, all right, this is how it's supposed to look every single time. And obviously it is. So the unboxing is from there, but all those things matter. Any individual thing, any one small individual thing on its own doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, like that tissue paper could be creased. You know, this has a little tear right there. When it was boxed, it tore a little bit.
Yeah.
Any individual one thing doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when you add them all up, that's when you, for some reason, don't like it.
Yeah.
That's when you create a product that people just aren't going to like. They're not going to want to keep coming back.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to buy your next thing. And there's more stuff coming.
Yeah.
I'm on pre-production version 3 of my next stuff, and I haven't even given them to the Indie Ridge Insiders yet.
So you guys know, if you don't know, but anybody that's not new to this channel, you know I'm very particular about a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things. If I go out to eat, the specificity, I'm annoyed when the waiter's not writing it down because I know they're going to mess something up. So when I see this level of care and detail, I appreciate it. Talk to me about that other box.
Oh,
Because I had questions about that. People asked me questions about it, and I didn't know what the answer was.
so again, one of the nice things about owning your own company is you get to do whatever you want.
Yes.
Within the confines of the law. I created a new series called the Wingman series. The Night 3.0 is part of the Wingman series. This is a sneak peek of the next ventilated one that's coming out soon.
Uh-oh.
So that's the Mohawk, but it's
Okay.
in brown.
Okay. How many boots are there? I'm sorry. I know I'm asking you a question on top of a question. How many boots are there? The Comanche, Mohawk,
5
Night?
and so the Phoenix collection is all waterproof.
Okay.
5.
I gotcha.
Right now we have the Night in the Crossfield in the Wingman collection.
Okay.
2, 3's coming, more coming later. Variants of the Crow, we have 2 Crow variants that we just launched. I've only had time to take one photo of the Crow variants from the side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But this is the Crow, and this is also the Crow. So different colored soles. So if you don't want all black, you can choose a different color.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how many that is, but the ventilated ones we're going to expand.
Gotcha.
It's called the Wingman series because I was trying to come up with, all right, what do I want to think about next? How do I want to phrase this? What do I want this to mean? And I decided with an Indie Ridge Insider who's a test pilot for the Air Force to name them after pilots from the X-15 program. Late 50s to the late 60s. 12 astronauts, a few of them, 12 pilots, test pilots, the real badasses probably of the country that's ever lived. Like, we think that we're cool at what we do, but these guys were nuts. One of them was Neil Armstrong out of the 12. So I wanted to do a tribute to the people who really knew how to master the art of risk. And that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
You do it by putting yourself on camera. You do it every day. Opening up a small business in California, it's the art of risk.
Yeah, yeah.
These guys were in experimental aircrafts. There was 12 of them. And that is artwork commissioned from a Ukrainian artist, who's a fabulous artist. the Crossfield is named after Scott Crossfield, who broke Chuck Yeager's record and went Mach 2. Pete Knight is what the Knight is named after.
Okay.
He still, to this day, holds the speed record for manned aircraft,
Okay.
Mach 6.7. So the Knight, Crossfield, Walker is coming up next.
Walker. How about Crow, Comanche? Where those names come from?
Those came from an idea I had a long time ago, and I have connections now to. I support, Cliff from Red Rum, which is Native peoples, Native Americans, Native tribes, MC. And Cliff has been really, really, really good to me. And the club has been amazing to me when they didn't have to be.
Yeah.
Nobody had to be.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting about this community that I kind of love the most is that they're really, really tight knit and they want to support each other, most of them. Yeah. And so Cliff didn't ask for anything. He's got a massive following. He's the international president of one of the biggest MCs in the world.
Yeah.
And so whenever he's in town, he comes by. But I named them after, and I asked his permission because I wasn't sure about if this was going to be appropriate. And he said, absolutely. He thought it was a cool idea. Those names are specific Plains Indians tribes who first incorporated the horse into their lifestyle. So up until then, they were mostly, they didn't move around a lot. A lot of the tribes stayed in one place, but when the horse was introduced after the Pueblo raid in, I'm not good with dates, 1700s, it changed those Plains Indian tribes. They were able to hunt, they were able to move. And I like that allegory for being on a motorcycle.
Awesome.
So the ability to change the way you live, I thought it was an interesting name. Of course, I asked him. I asked another member from the Duluth crew, the original Indie Ridge Insiders group. That was just an email chain. He was the first. So I actually named the Mohawk after him and his tribe.
Gotcha.
So the Mohawk isn't the Mohawk Turtle Clan isn't actually a Plains Indians tribe, but because of him and him talking to me and his MC up in Duluth, where they were all testing my gear in freezing weather. I talked to him a lot, and he's actually a pastor, really interesting guy. Goes around to all the MCs. I mean, all the MCs. And he just asks to pray with them. So he kind of has an in with MCs that you wouldn't normally have an in with if you're a certain person. But we've developed a really good group of people around the company. And they've all been ultra supportive when, again, they never had to be.
That's right.
A company they had never heard about maybe 2 years ago, all of a sudden they're like, okay, I'm interested in this. And I answer emails and I answer phone calls because it still sounds odd to hear CEO.
Yeah.
And it's grown, and I feel incredibly lucky. I still feel like the bottom's about to fall out at any moment, which leads me to do crazy shit like this and to cut open my boots and to test them.
Taking anything for granted.
Take nothing for granted.
That's right.
And again, like I can't sell a bad boot because you guys are trusting me with your limbs, your feet. I know they're $185. That's why if you don't like them, you don't have to keep them.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys, I'm just going to show you one boot that I just thought was just adorable. Oh my gosh. I got to talk to Anita and see if she's interested in these. Now, you guys know I love Comanches. Look how cute. This is a female, size 8.
Yeah.
Look how adorable that boot looks.
Yeah. The tags, because these are tags for the men's boots, so they should sit right there. I would prefer it if this string was a little shorter.
See what I'm saying, guys?
So it would
See
be
what
right
I'm saying,
there.
guys?
Yeah, but the string is a little long. So so when I see that, that's the thing that annoys me, is they should have made that string a little shorter for the women's boot. They didn't. I'll let it go.
See what I'm saying, guys?
That's the one tiny thing. It doesn't matter because everything else will be fine.
I know I'm anal. I know I am. And I would have never even thought, hey, why is that tag hanging down so far? But
It's too far because
he wants it to be right there.
the vast majority of the boots are.
But no seriousness, guys. Look how nice this boot looks. All right, I'm not going to stop. Listen, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I've taken up plenty.
I do want to talk about something. I want to talk about how the relationship came about. Mm-hmm. And my relationship with John, actually. Mm-hmm. Cycle Fanatics.
Yes.
And all of my relationships. Mm-hmm. Who is the person that you recommend that I reach out to?
That's Ryan and Wrenching.
Yes.
That's Michael.
So I talked to him on the phone. Mm-hmm. I was waiting for the new, because I was out of 12s.
Yeah.
So he's getting the care packages,
Yeah.
but they hadn't arrived. Mm-hmm. The relationship I have with people on specific channels, and the relationship that I have with them, I didn't even know that John had purchased a pair of the Comanches. Mm-hmm. Someone else had sent me a picture of him at a Harley shoot wearing the Comanches, and they were so. It was in the sun. It was a great shot.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I reached out to him and I said, "How do you like the boots?" And he said, "I love them. They're great. I wear them all the time. Mm-hmm. They're super comfortable." Yeah. I had zero contact. I had zero contact with him. Mm-hmm. Prior to that.
Yeah.
He didn't send me that. A friend of mine sent me that. Mm-hmm. I reached out to him. And I realized, wow, you've got a lot of followers. Yeah. And you've got a loud voice. Mm-hmm. And you worked hard to get that loud voice and that influence. Mm-hmm. And that, like the artist in there who didn't value her art as much, I decided it was a fair trade. Yeah. Because he liked the boots, he was going to wear them, but he had an audience, and he deserved to get compensated for that audience. So there's a lot of. That's kind of the weird thing about being a YouTuber and reviews and all that kind of stuff, is that you get product. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies will send you product for free, and they'll expect a review. Mm-hmm. And I say to anybody who reaches out to me, and I did the same thing with you. Yeah. I said, I'll send you whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want. I'll send you all the sizes, gloves. If you don't like them, you do not have to wear them. You do not have to do anything. Mm-hmm. We can part as friends, still love the channel, still a huge fan, not a big deal. Mm-hmm. However, I do understand that the digital investment, which is what your channel is, and John's, and everybody else's who's trying to make it, it's a digital investment, now is paying dividends. Yes. And it's worth something. Mm-hmm. And so people are going to say, oh, well, he's sponsoring him or this or that. I'm sponsoring him because he worked hard to get there. Mm-hmm. And so he's not hot, and I made that very clear. Throttle Blip did the same thing. Throttle Blip, I don't even, I send him gear. Yeah. But I make it very clear to everyone, you don't have to utter the words Indie Ridge ever. That's and I'll send you a ton of boots. Mm-hmm. And if you don't like them, you can actually trash them. You can make a video trashing them if you want to. Mm-hmm. I prefer you tell me so I can improve versioning. But again, like it's your prerogative. It does you no good to try to sell a product that you don't personally like.
That's right.
Because the best way to kill a bad product is with good advertising. And this isn't really advertising. This is more of, okay, you like the boot and your platform is large. And to me, that is valuable. And that's just a fact. But you had to like the boot first.
That's right.
And so I sent you all the different sizes. And I said, look, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to say my name on camera ever.
Yep.
If you want to wear them, great. If you don't and you don't like them, they just aren't your style, that's fine too.
And you said, you're not going to hurt my feelings.
You're not going to hurt my feelings. I said the same thing to John. And actually you and John are, kind of really like the only people who are like out there talking about the boots more often. You guys have promo codes and stuff like that. There's a reason you have promo codes. But you had to like the boot. Because I don't want you to jeopardize your channel and all your hard work.
That's right.
Just for, just for some free shit.
Yeah, and I'll let you know right off the back. I don't do that.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't think that long term.
That's true.
Because as soon as you do that, and you jeopardize your digital investment.
That's right.
You lose your credibility
right.
and your authenticity, and then your viewership starts to go down. And the next thing you say, people are going to question.
That's right.
So it does you no good. It does me no good. So that's the only reason. That is something that I wanted to address. If you feel like, or that's the only thing that I wanted to address.
Yeah.
You could include that in the video or not.
Okay. No, absolutely.
I want to be transparent because there are going to be people, well, Steve's paying him to do blah, 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 blah.
That's right.
And it's like, well, yeah, because you have 100,000 followers and you built that yourself from zero. Do you know how hard that is?
Yeah.
Do you know how, how hard this was? And this is small.
Yeah.
This is a small operation.
In your eyes.
In my eyes.
Yeah, Anita came in here and said, wow, and so did I. I don't know if it's just it's not just the size or the volume, it's the organization. Like sometimes something's sloppy and it's big. It's not going to, this looks bigger than it is because it's organized, at least to me.
So, and you have to stay organized as you grow, otherwise
Forget about it.
you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because it can't scale. Now, I can't keep answering the phone forever,
Yeah.
but I like to talk to customers because if I transferred off to a customer service rep,
Yeah.
the person is calling for one of two reasons. I bought a boot or I'm looking to buy a boot. I bought a boot, I need to return it or exchange it. That tells me I need to make it more obvious how to return and exchange. Because our custom software that we actually created for free exchanges and returns, it's custom. It's really easy to use, but maybe it's not obvious enough. And so I need, the next time I create the pamphlets in the box or on the website, I need to make it more obvious how to do an exchange, how to do a return. Or if something happened with the boot or the glove, it didn't fit. I've got this thing, this is kind of hurting. I need to know that. If I pass it off to somebody else, it's gonna get lost. So it's not just me developing a relationship and a trust that I think we've lost as online consumers. I want them to realize that there's another person on the other line that cares about your $200 and doesn't want you to feel like, you're stuck or scammed, anything.
That's huge, man. That's huge.
And frankly, I want to know, if someone's calling me and they haven't bought a boot, what are they asking me about? What can I make more obvious? What can I explain more on the website? So you lose touch with your customer base and you stop answering calls and you stop talking to them. You're not going to hear these things or they're going to get lost somewhere down the line. And I really, really hope that never happens. I really, really do, because we're on 4.
Yeah.
Your iPhone is 14 Pro Max. I don't know how many and how far we're going. I don't know. The company could close tomorrow, but again, I don't have a plan B on this one.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's who we are in an hour-long nutshell.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. So anything that I've said to describe this guy, if you haven't seen it in this video, you need to go back and watch this video again. Just, I don't know what else to say, but he is what he is. The business is structured the way it is because he's the CEO. Whether he wants to call himself the CEO or not, that's what's going on here. So I appreciate him again, man.
Rob,
Thank you for taking out the time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out.
Showing me around the warehouse. And
if you guys haven't taken the training sessions and it's close and you can get there, first off, to everybody who watches them, that is way harder than it looks. So you guys all think, oh, I can do exercise number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Buy some cones. I bought mine when he called me and said, hey man, I'm coming out to Elsinore. And I'm like, shit, that is close enough for me to come. I don't have an excuse.
Yep.
I got to practice. So I practiced for a month with cones. And you think you know how to ride. You've been riding for all your life. Oh yeah. I've been riding my whole life. Have you? Can you do those really important critical maneuvers? If he's close to you and you can get there, oh my God, you might look dumb on YouTube, but you learn so much. And he has guys there who travel with him all over the country. And some of those guys are on big, I mean, I was on a Dyna. I was on 07 Street Pub. And some of these guys are on real big bikes. And he was on the biggest. And the things that they can do are just incredible because they practice.
Right.
And so I have a parking lot out there where I practice now, and I make sure I practice when there's not cardboard in the intake zone, because cardboard and
makes
dust,
dust.
they don't mix.
I love this guy, right? I appreciate you saying that, man. And no, you're not going to look stupid, at least not in my eyes. He's so tough on himself. You know, it's just, I'm telling you guys, it's not just about his business. This is who he is. And that's the way things are usually going to go anyway. You're not going to change who you are in your business. If you're meticulous in your life, you're going to be meticulous in your business. All right, guys. Anyway, listen, I'm going to sign off on this video now. I appreciate you guys taking the time to spend. I know there's anything you could be doing with your time, and the fact that you choose to spend a little bit of it with me and Steve, it's always appreciated. Spend more time being thankful for the things that you have, guys, and less time complaining about the things that you don't. Seat time doesn't equal practice time. If you have time to ride your motorcycles, you have time to practice on them. Until next time.